This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus, and yes, I finally watched the Game of Thrones season finale. Between school, finals, work, E3, all that shit conspired to keep me away from it. Oh yeah, let's not forget the pay-per-view that happened the same night. Yo, that fucking Sunday of the Game of Thrones finale was fucked for me. You had the NBA Finals, you had Money in the Bank, you had podcasts, you had Bethesda's E3 conference, just all, and it was just all a clusterfuck. And then all week E3, I had to do some stuff for that. Then I just started a new job. It doesn't matter. I finally watched it. I watched it, and goddamn, yep, that moment was as good as I figured it was. Pretty bad moment for a lot of us who are fans of the show, but to see it visualized was very interesting. Having read the book, I mean, when I read it, I was already like, fuck no, fuck you, George Martin. And yeah, it's pretty much the just now as well, but we'll get to that at the end. So let's try to remember everything in a row, because it was just a ton of stuff going on. Let's just start with stuff that comes to mind first, which is, first of all, Stannis Baratheon. R.I.P. to you, bitch. Stannis was so obsessed with being king that he did some pretty fucked up, vile things. So he got his comeuppance. So we remember last episode, he had his daughter burnt at the stake in order to assure victory. Why? Why would you do some dumb shit like that? That's the most fucked up shit that you could do as a human being. But Stannis did it. Why? Because he was so convinced that he was rightfully the heir to the throne. Like, he, as much as he tried to pretend about being such an honorable, duty-bound person, he was just as vile and depraved as the people who he felt like didn't deserve the crown in the end. You know, in the end, he showed his true colors that, yo, he's just a fucking, dickhead who got what he deserved. So the snow had broke. He's all hyped. All right, we're ready. We're marching to Winterfell. Then all of a sudden, the bad news starts to roll in. Sir, half of the men have deserted. They left over the night. Damn, okay, you only got half an army. Still, fuck it. I got the God of Light on my side. He's going to help me out. That's pretty much what his mentality was. So he's like, fuck it, we're still going. They took almost all the horses, too. That's fine. Fuck it, we're going. Okay, sir, we got some more news for you. He goes, well, it can't be as bad as mutiny. Hell yeah, it's bad as mutiny. Finds his wife in the middle of the forest hanging from a tree. She was so stricken with grief over the sacrifice of their daughter that she was like, fuck it, I'm out. Took her own life. So, after that, he gets more bad news. Sir, so, the chick who's been blowing your head up, who's been hyping you, been telling you how you're the righteous king, how you're going to have the crown, how you're going to achieve victory, and all of this crap like that, she just was seen running away out the forest. We all know, I guess she's gone. So Stannis like, fuck it, we're still going. Why? Because he's Stannis. Stannis is a fucking, hard-headed prick who just doesn't know when to say when. He should have took the opportunity to say, fuck it, I don't have the manpower. I don't, my wife just fucking died. I just killed my kid. All this shit is falling apart. I need to take a moment to go back and regroup. He should have went directly back to not Winterfell, but the Wall, which would have benefited things in the end of the show as well if he had just decided to go back to the fucking Wall and stop being a self-righteous dickhead. But nope, this motherfucker decides I'm still going to Winterfell. So, what happens when he gets to Winterfell? He's like, okay, he's walking on foot because they pretty much don't have no horses. They're, probably the horses they had died or they didn't have enough to utilize or whatever the deal is. But he gets there and he's like, all right, here, let's dig in here. We're going to get ready for siege. His, I guess you could say his captain at arms, whoever that dude was like, yo, there ain't going to be no siege, homie. Look. What does he see coming over that hill? Ramsay and the Bolton army coming at him with horses, mind you, twice the size of his. So he gives a smirk. He looks back, gives a smirk, and just pulls his sword like, fuck it. Let's just go. Because that's who he is. That's Stannis. He's not gonna just like retreat, save yourselves, whatever, get to the woods, which would have been a smarter tactic. If he was smart, he would have told them to back up, run to the woods. It would have at least kind of, sort of, given them a little better fight, because having seen a lot of and heard a lot of stuff about warfare, I used to be all into these like those shows that would talk about warfare and things like that. If you're a standing army fighting against a mounted army, you're better off fighting in a forest, because the people on mounts have to pick their way through the trees to get at you, where you can come at them from wherever because you're clean. You know what I mean? So, had he had been less of a self-righteous, proud jackass, he probably would have maybe have lived to escape the fight at best. He wouldn't have had no army either way, but at least some people could have got away. He could have maybe got back to, the wall or something, got somewhere. Maybe even if luck prevailed, he got home. But nope. Asshole. You just couldn't do it. So, army's decimated. Ramsay's pretty much taken out his forces. And Stannis, I will say this. His last stand was pretty cool. He had a little sword fight. And he was left sitting at a tree when Brienne of Tarth shows up because she had heard from Pod that Stannis was coming. Mind you, between all this, Sansa had ran up to the tower and put a candle in the light tower that Brienne asked her to, and Brienne walked away before she saw it. That was perfect timing right there. But Brienne shows up to the scene, finds Stannis, and she lays down the charges of him murdering his brother. She asked, did you murder your brother? He was like, yeah, I did. And she lays down the charges, and how do you plead? Any last words? He was just like, typical Stannis, just get on with your duty. That's what Stannis. He would have just done what he needed to do. No emotion, no tears, nothing. Just fuck it. Do it. Because that's what is supposed to be done. It's the quote-unquote right thing. And Brienne chopped his ass up. Boom. The end. So at least Brienne got that closure with Renly. At least she was able to avenge her fallen king. So she got that closure. She was able to, rectify something in her life right now. So, going back to Sansa real quick. So Sansa, she goes up, put the candle in, is hoping someone comes, but she sees the fight going, and she's like, I don't know how well this is going to go with the fight going on. She comes down, and the little jealous bitch that Ramsay was fucking comes to her with Reek, with Theon, and she's like, yo, I saw what you did. I'm going to let him know now. You're going to get punished either way. You're not going to die, but he's probably going to take parts off you. She's smirking, talking mad shit. Like, you want me to start now with your punishment? And Sansa's like, look, I don't care. You want to kill me? Kill me. It's not as worse as what he could do. And she was like, oh, no, I'm not going to kill you. We're going to wait for them and all that. But I could start now. And she was about to shoot Sansa with the arrow when Theon grew balls that he no longer has. Or does he still have his balls? That's a curious question. Somebody answer that in the chat. Do you know if he still has his balls? Because Ramsay took his dick. I don't know if he took his balls too. Maybe he took the whole set. Who knows? Anyway, so he pushes the chick off, kills her, and he realized, yo, we gotta go. So he grabs Sansa. They jump off the top of the castle. And a lot of you probably like, yo, they're gonna die. But remember, it just was like a huge snow, and they have really, really thick snow in that area. So The snow drifts up against the walls, or probably feet high. So they probably landed safely and just have to like plow through the snow and get away. Curious to see how that flight's gonna go, because you have somebody who's missing his dick, toes, and some fingers, carrying a prim and proper chick who, you know, she's from Winterfell, but I don't know if she got the, you know, makeup to survive that. But hopefully they'll run into Brienne and Pod, and then they can escape. That would be awesome if that was to happen. But this is Game of Thrones, so we know bullshit happens, and somebody's probably gonna die. Theon's probably gonna get his head cut off or some shit like that after this is all said and done. Anyway, so those two things were resolved. We had Arya get her revenge, where she finally got to Sir Meryn Trent. She pretended to be a prostitute and used a face from inside that vault of faces at the Black and White House. It was pretty cool because he was punishing these girls with the thing, because basically this dude not only likes to fuck young chicks, but he likes to whip them while he fucks them. It's a pretty sick dude. But she bore up to the most punishment, so he kept her, and after he punched her, she came back, hit him, and gouged his eyes out. Took his eyes, stuffed his scarf in his mouth, stabbed him up in the chest a couple of times, stabbed him up in the back a couple of times. Basically just tortured him while she talked about, yeah, you were first on my list, but I finally got you. You know, others I got to. Some were taken away from me, but I'm glad you weren't, you know, and who am I, you know, and all that. She murdered him, went back to the house, put the face back. And of course, dude training her caught her, and he was like, you know, you were right. She isn't ready, you know, to that girl who was hanging with them. And like, well, we have a punishment for those who take a life that wasn't theirs to take. You must like sacrifice another life. And he pulls out a vial of poison, and she's thinking she's gonna get killed. He drinks it, dies, and she's crying like, no. And the girl's like, why are you crying? Like, he was my friend. And the girl goes, no, you're not. She turns around, it's him, and realizing that, hey, he changed his appearance. And he was like, you know, that person is no one. Look again. And then she goes, grabs the face. She's grabbing a bunch of faces off and realizes that, yo, what the fuck? Until she gets to hers. And then she freaks out and starts to go blind. So what's going to happen to Arya? Who knows? He's probably going to make her blind for a while to teach her a lesson. Hopefully she learns her lesson and gets through this. But hopefully now that Meryn Trent is gone, she'll get over this whole I need to like rage bullshit. Because there's pretty much no one left out there except for, I guess you could say, Cersei and Jaime Lannister, maybe. Maybe she'll grow up and realize she shouldn't be going after them, but they completed her story. So then we go and we get closer with Daenerys. So you see Tyrion, her lover, and Ser Jorah sitting there having a conversation, and they suss out that, look, we're gonna have to do something. So they, you know, have their little spat between, which was a cool conversation, and they finally resolved that, okay, Jorah and the mercenary are gonna go look for her. Tyrion, since he has the experience of running a city, is going to stay and try to take care of Meryn with her advisor, Melisandre, and with Grey Worm, who's getting better. You know, so they're going to stay back while they go after Daenerys. Up pops along Varys, who comes through and is like, yeah, I heard about what happened and all that stuff like that. And Tyrion's like, yeah, you seem to know everything, whatever. So Varys is like, you know, what you're going to need to do this is you're going to need information. You're going to need people to have eyes and ears open for you. You're going to need little birds singing. I wonder who you have around here who's good at that type of stuff. And Tyrion looks at him and just smiles and is like, yo, Varys, I really did miss you. So Varys and Tyrion are going to run the city of Meryn, which is going to be a pretty cool ordeal to go through. I love the changes. So far, the changes that they've made, Stannis getting off the way he did, having his family go out like that. Tyrion now in charge of Meryn, and them going to find Daenerys. You know, stuff like that is like changes. Another change that happened, which ain't really cool, is that Jaime and Bronn are taking Cersei's daughter back. You know, they say their goodbyes. You know, what's her name? Damn, I forget her name, but the mother of the Sand Snakes, she gives the daughter a kiss, goodbye and all that. And as soon as I saw that kiss, I was like, she just killed her. I knew she had killed her as soon as she put her lips to it, because I'm like, why would you need to give her a kiss, especially a kiss that long? Made no sense. You could have just pecked her on the cheek. You don't like that child. Why would you show some type of compassion like that? So Jamie's on the boat with her, and he's talking, and he decides, you know, I need to make a confession, you know. So he starts saying how, you know, sometimes there's things that happen you don't know, like you are in love with dude and you didn't think that would happen, but it worked out that way. You don't necessarily choose who you fall in love with, but sometimes it just works out that way. So he's going, and he was like, I want to tell you something that you don't know. And she goes, oh, I know. I've always felt it since, you know, then. I know you're my father. Which Jamie's like, oh, shit, okay. So he's kind of happy, you know, overwhelmed, relieved, feared. And they're hugging, and all of a sudden she starts bleeding out her mouth. And she's dying. They flash back to the docks where they show the Sand Snakes and the mother sitting there. And you see some blood start to trickle out the mother's nose. One of the Sand Snakes hands her a vial. She drinks the antidote, same way that Braun drank the antidote. And she walks off because she's got her revenge. What does that mean? I don't know. She just did some really fucked up shit. She probably shouldn't have drank the antidote. She probably should have just fell dead, because the King of Dorian's going to kill her unless she can come up with a really good plan of killing Prince Dorian before he gets the Prince of Dorian before he gets to her. So that's going to be an interesting fight to see happen, go down next season as well. So that's closure there. Okay, so next big closure, Daenerys. We find Daenerys is out in the wilderness somewhere, and at first I thought maybe they had her dragon take her over to Westeros. That would have been cool, but it seems like the dragon took her back to where the Dothraki are, and now she's being surrounded by a Dothraki army. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen to Daenerys. That's going to be interesting to see as well. So that's her closure. Her closure was pretty quick. Now to the really big stuff. And sorry this video is so long, but lots of huge moments in this show. So Cersei decides to repent, ask for forgiveness. The guy, he asked her a couple of questions. He asked her who was it that she slept with that was incestual. She said it was Lancel. He asked her, was there any left? She lied, said no, no one else. He asked her about the fact that her kids might be Jamie. She's like, nope, that's a lie. Fuck you. That's a lie. Well, she didn't say fuck you, but she was just like a dirty lie. He's like, okay, that's cool. All right, so now we just have to wait for your trial. She's like, my trial, yeah. And he was like, well, can I just ask for one thing? Can I see my son? He was like, fine, you can see your son. You'll go to see him as you head on your walk of atonement. She's like, atonement. So they cut her hair and they strip her naked. They take her outside and they make her walk down the street with guards around her, of course, to protect her. And I have to say that was a really, really well done scene. Hats off to her for. I know they said she has a body double who did all the like huge shots and stuff like that. But I still say hats off to her, because for the like facial stuff, getting spit in the face and all that, yeah, I don't know if I could have like played that one off. But then again, I think they may have just put mask her reactions over top of the body double, and it was the body double got spit on. However they did that, they did a good job. It was crazy. But as soon as she gets there, she gets to the castle, she walks in, they cover her up and all that. And they were like, we want to introduce you to your new Kingsguard, who is tall as shit and looks purple underneath his mask. So it clearly is the Mountain, which dude reanimated the fucking Mountain and turned him into a walking corpse. What the fuck? Dude's a necromancer. Interesting. So now you got the Mountain there. He's vowed that he'll kill everybody who's wronged you and everything. You know, Cersei gets that Cersei look, so here we go. Cersei's being put in a position where she might get her revenge without having to fucking get her comeuppance, which, fuck me. Fuck. I hate that. So that's that resolution right there. Final resolution is the wall. So John's having a conversation with Sam. He's telling him about what happened and all that and everything. And in the midst of the conversation, Sam asks, could I go to the Citadel? I want to get, Gilly away, and maybe I can find something to help us. John's a little wishy-washy about it, but then he finally agrees. They have one last like cool moment together when Sam tells him how he fucked Gilly and all that. They had their laugh and say they farewells. Now, also saw Melisandre show up to bear the bad news about Stannis being dead. So her bitch ass, she was smart. She ran back to the wall for protection. Interesting. Which adds to another reason why I say that what happened at the end isn't true. And I just thought of that. God damn it. Genius. Anyway, so now, after all of that, John's sitting at his desk and he gets a message from that little kid. That fucking snot-nosed little bastard who he helped. Fuck that little kid. That someone has news of his uncle. So John runs out and they're like all standing there. He's right over there. He walks up to a post. It says traitor on it. He turns around and a bunch of Night's Watchmen proceeds to stab him and call him a traitor, including that little snot-nosed bastard kid at the end who stabs him. Like, yo, Sir Alistair, you're fucking dead. All y'all are fucking dead. God damn it. Y'all just killed yourself because the one person who could have protected you from the, the White Walkers, you pretty much have offed, or have they? Because you never see John die. You see him laying on the ground in the pool of his own blood, eyes open, tears coming out of his eyes. Just like in the book. That's how it ended in the book. No one ever saw John die. That's why I contend he's not dead in the books. And I contend he's not dead on the show. I even contend more so that he's not dead on the show. Simply because, now that I thought of it, Melisandre's there. She's a fucking witch. She can raise him. She can heal him. She can cure him of whatever ailment he has. And he can continue on. I have a feeling that Melisandre, Davos, and Ghost are going to get him. They're going to take him out. They're going to rescue him. And he's going to stay alive because he's pivotal. He has that fucking sword. He has knowledge of the White Walkers. John needs to live in order for the Wall, the Night's Watch, and the entire fucking kingdom to survive. Dumbasses are so betrayed, butthurt that he helped fucking people who they have no real understanding outside of what they were told to do their duty against. And they're gonna off him. Interesting. So it's gonna be interesting to see how all this shit plays out next season. Overall, I thought this season was solid. It was like the book in the sense that it was a setup type of thing, trying to set you up to carry you over into like the bulk of the large events. I just think that the show did a hell of a job better than the books. The books, yeah, they're just all over the place, and he's right. He's going to have to figure out how to bring this all together. They've kind of cinched the loose ends together somewhat in the show, so they're going to have a better time with season 6 than he's going to have with book 6. Definitely. But anyway, that's my long finale review. Sorry, but there's so much going on, and I just had to get this all out. As always, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Megas, and I'm out of here. Deuces. John's alive, people. Keep the faith. John's alive.